Quinn has always been a pretty niche top lane pick, mostly played by one tricks or to counter specific champions, but she's never really been seen as a strong pick in the meta. With recent changes, with recent indirect changes, and with how the meta is shaping out in the top lane, I believe Quinn top is probably the most underrated pick right now for solo queue and in the strongest state that she's been in quite some time. So in this video, we're going to be discussing why that is, what your setup should look like on the champion, and how you should be looking to play it to annihilate your opponent. So with that being said, guys, let's get started. So if we jump right into it here, why is Quinn top so strong right now? Well, if you take a look at the top lane meta for this patch and see who are the most picked top laners, you got Fiora, who was just recently buffed in last patch, so she's being played a lot more right now. You got Garen in this patch, who's coming off of his mini rework, so he's going to be played a ton right now. He's the most picked top laner by far in patch 9.20, and both those two matchups are very good for Quinn top lane. If you go down the line here, you got Darius, Jax, Renekton, Riven, Mordekaiser, Kayle, Aurelia, Gangplank. All of these champions are melee. I guess you could argue Kayle's not really melee because once she hits level 6 she's ranged, but before level 6 she's melee, so technically 10 out of these 10 most picked top laners right now in this patch are melee champions, and those are the kind of champions that Quinn can absolutely feast on. Quinn's got so many good matchups right now in the top lane that even pro players have started to catch on to it. They've been spamming her quite a bit in solo queue as of recent as a good counter pick to a couple champions are being highly prioritized in the pro scene. Renekton and Gangplank are two picks that are being played a lot in pro right now. Quinn's a great pick into those two champions. We've already seen her pulled out 2 times at Worlds so far, and I do expect as we do reach the group stage here, we're probably going to see her a little bit more as a counter pick to some of these bruiser tops. So far at 9.20, Quinn Statistics against the most played top laners are just completely off the charts. You have upwards of a 64% win rate so far against the Renekton, 65 against Riven, 62 against the Garen there. So every single champion she has a winning win rate against in this patch besides the Jax, and that just goes to show you how good of a pick she is right now in this meta. So with Garen being the most picked top laner in this patch, you're going to be running into him every couple of games, every like 4 or 5 games in this patch, and because of that, it just means that you're gonna get free wins if you do pick Quinn. The matchup is so difficult for Garen to play because if Garen tries to run at Quinn, tries to jump on her with his Q, all you gotta do with Quinn is use your E, kite away. He's not gonna be able to jump on you at all as long as you are playing around your E cooldown. There also might be a bug in this patch, in this matchup, to where when Quinn does use her E on Garen, it can actually cancel Garen's Q and he's not gonna be able to use it if you use your E on him when he's running at you. I'm not too sure how reproducible this is and if it is actually a bug or not, but there was a post on the Quinn mains Reddit to where the best Quinn player in NA is playing the matchup in the top lane, and he did notice that he was canceling Garen's Q with Quinn's E, so this could be another reason as to why the matchup is just so Quinn favored for this patch. Now, as long as you are using your E correctly in the laning phase, then you should never really get engaged on by the opponent. If you're in a matchup up against a Renekton, a Jax, a Riven, any of these gap close bruiser top laners, you want to make sure you're saving your E for when they try to jump onto you, and as long as you do that, you should never really die in the laning phase or never really even take damage in the laning phase. When your E is off cooldown, that's when you want to be playing aggressive. You want to be looking to just auto attack the opponents, get passive procs, use your Q off on the opponent. But when your E is not off cooldown, you do want to be playing safe. Just play a little bit further back. Don't get engaged on, don't lose a bad trade, because when you do have your cooldowns up, you should never really lose a trade with Quinn. If you're playing this Quinn top pick well, you should get priority in pretty much every single melee matchup. You're going to be shoving the enemy under tower, and you're going to be able to roam first to help your jungler out. This just allows your jungler to pretty much guarantee himself at least one scuttle crab, and if he does want to, he can look to play very aggressive, he can look to make invade plays, he can get ahead. So by picking this Quinn top, you're not only guaranteeing yourself a good laning phase, you're also guaranteeing your jungler, if he plays it well, he should be able to get ahead too and get a snowball going, so it just allows you to have a very strong early to mid game. With the addition of tower plates this season too, it just allows Quinn to snowball even harder than she could previously. You're going to be able to poke the enemy out of lane, they're going to have to base, and because you do run Demolish as one of your secondary runes with the Quinn top, you're going to be able to get pretty much every single tower plate in most matchups with Quinn. If you're playing the matchup well and you're poking the enemy out, harassing him, he's going to have to base, you're going to be able to get free reign on their tower, and you should just get a ton of extra gold in the laning phase, accelerate your build path, and just get super far ahead. So that is another reason as to why this pick is very strong right now. In order for you to have maximum success with this Quinn top in this patch, you do want to make sure you are running the correct setup. So in previous iterations of Quinn, we've seen full lethality, we've seen electrocute, we've seen full crit on Quinn, but that's not how you want to be playing her in this patch. Blade the Ruin King Rush with press the attack as your keystone rune and with a W max is going to allow you to have the most success. Bruiser champions are going to be stacking a lot of HP. They're going to be building at least one of a Black Cleaver, a Titanic Hydra, a a Trini Force. They're not going to be building a lot of armor items usually they build armor items later on into the game. Their core items are going to be these HP items, so by going for Bork Rush, it gives you that percent HP damage, and by going for PTA along with the W max, it's going to further amplify your damage, further amplify your percent HP damage, and allow you to just pretty much easily melt the HP bars of these bruiser champions. The stats don't lie there either. As you can see, W max first just does way better than Q max in this patch. It's got around a 6% better win rate, and that's just mainly because by maxing W first, you get that insane amount of attack speed. It's going to allow you to get a ton of percent HP damage off from that Blade of the Ruin King very quickly. If you're going for a lethality build, I think Q max first is still fine, but if you are running this correct setup of the Bork first in this patch, you do want to make sure you're maxing that W out first. Now for the rest of your build on the Quinn top, Phantom Dancer into Infinity Edge is the most common one for this patch. Some people also run Static Shiv into Infinity Edge, but the PD there just is going to make it pretty much impossible for you to die against these bruiser champions. Not only do you have the kiting potential in your kit with your E and your Q, you also get the slow, or you get the move speed bonus there from the active on Blade of the Ruin King, and you get the shield from PD, so it just makes it so difficult for champions to beat you in the 1v1, and it just allows you to side lane very well in the mid game. And then lastly, if we round out the video by talking about how you should be looking to play it throughout the laning phase, I already touched on this a little bit earlier, but just play aggro whenever your E is off cooldown. That's going to be the key to your success in the laning phase with this Quinn top pick. Make sure you're playing aggro when it's up. When it's down, you do want to be playing safer. So you should be looking to constantly harass and shove the enemy under tower with the Quinn top, and just always be aware of where your jungler is playing on the map. If your jungler is pathing to top side and he's looking to take the early scuttle crab, make sure you do roam down and make sure you're aware of his pathing. This is just going to allow you to get ahead and also allow your jungler to get ahead. And if you get into a 2v2 skirmish in the early game as well, and you've already poked out the enemy top laner, chances are you're going to win that 2v2 and you're just going to snowball even harder. So always keep an eye on that minimap, keep an eye on where your jungler is, and look to back him up if he is playing aggressive. It is pretty important that you do not fall behind with this Quinn top pick. If you do fall behind, then you're just going to be a lot weaker than most other bruiser top lane picks. You're not going to scale super well into the mid to late game. So in order for you to avoid falling behind early game when you do shove the enemy up under tower, make sure you do just get some deeper vision. I know you do have your W, which allows you to scout out an area and it allows you to see vision temporarily, but that's not going to work every single time. Sometimes you're just not going to be expecting a gank. The jungler's going to come up behind you and you're going to die, so your W is not going to save you in those situations. You do want to make sure that you just go down the river, get some deeper vision in the river, get some vision in the enemy's jungle, give yourself sufficient enough vision so that when the enemy jungler does come to gank, you have enough time to back away from the enemy's tower and back to yours. Once you hit the level 6, take a look at the map when you do reset. Take a look at mid, take a look at bot. If there's a roam opportunity, look to make it happen. If not, go back to top lane, keep chipping away at the enemy's tower. Once you have taken the enemy's tower, I would definitely look to roam, so just look to be proactive with your ultimate, look to be roaming around the map, and by doing this, you should have a ton of success with Quinn top for 9.20. In the mid to late game, the best way to play Quinn top usually is to look to shove out the side lane, look to get that pushing, and then once you have got it to the enemy's tower, either continue pushing if nobody's coming to match you, or look to go for a flank play with your ultimate. That's the best way to play Quinn a lot of the time. Your ultimate allows you to get from one place to another very quickly, and you're going to be able to have a 5v4 situation if the enemy top laner does have to sit bot lane and deal with the side wave. So just be looking to do that. Look to use your good split push, look to pressure in the side lane, and then use your ultimate for a flank and give your team a 5v4. So that is going to be all for this video, guys. Hopefully you do have a pretty good idea now as to why Quinn Top is one of the most underrated top laners for patch 9.20. If you guys did enjoy this video, then be sure to drop a like, subscribe if you have yet to already. So thanks for watching, have an awesome day, and I will see you in my next video.